the streets, but you know me, I ain't going for that. I hit the club and I'm throwing it back. Won't walk through and them niggas attack.
That was Laura, a bride who washed off her professional makeup just 20 minutes before her wedding. And trust me, this one got under my skin in a way that few stories have recently. At first glance, you might think, so what, it's a wedding day. But there's so much more to this story that reveals a concerning trend in how people treat service workers. There's something about seeing the complete disregard for another person's work, expertise, and feelings that just doesn't sit right with me. And I think after I walk you through what happened, you'll understand why. So what exactly happened? This bride hired a professional makeup artist for her wedding day. After the makeup was done and listening to this, instead of communicating any concerns directly to the artist, she sneaked off to the bathroom with her bridesmaid, set up a camera, and proceeded to wash everything off while making some pretty harsh comments. And here's the kicker. She even said, "I can't wait to make a TikTok about this."
Like icky or something.
Oh, I can't wait to make a TikTok about this.
Flashback Mary.
That single line reveals so much about her intentions, don't you think? This wasn't just about feeling comfortable on her wedding day. It was about creating content, generating drama, and getting attention online at the expense of a professional's reputation. Now, I want to be clear here. I completely understand that a bride wants to feel her absolute best on her wedding day. It's a special moment. Pictures will be taken that last forever, and you want to look the best version of yourself. No argument there. If she genuinely didn't like her makeup, that's totally fine. The issue isn't that she wanted to change it, it's how she went about doing it. Let me break down what we actually see in this viral video. The bride is in the bathroom washing off her professional makeup while her bridesmaid films. She says things like, "I don't even want to see her," referring to the makeup artist, and complains that the artist didn't blend in my neck at all. Her bridesmaid is encouraging this behavior, saying things like, "You already look better without the makeup," and criticizing the lipstick color for being too pink.
We have so much time. The wedding's not even until 4. It's fine. I'm scared that she's gonna want to do like touch-ups on me like right before. Can we ask her still? Is that rude? Like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her. I feel bad, but I don't like it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's fine. I can't believe I'm doing this. Everything is a weird state right now. You like look better even without the makeup at all. Right? I'm like, I already feel like way more like myself. Like, I'm watching her paint your lips and I was like, oh, that is pink. I was trying so hard to like it. She also like didn't blend in my neck at all. Like, no, she didn't. There's no makeup on my neck. Rather walk down the aisle like this. A mask. Oh, please. No.
Just imagine being that makeup artist for a second. You've done your job, the bride seemed satisfied when you left, and then months later, you discover a viral video of her washing off your work while making these comments. How would you feel? The video shows this almost giddy excitement about getting to trash someone's work online. There's a performative aspect to it all. The way they're both playing to the camera, building up this narrative that the makeup artist did a terrible job. It's like they're setting the stage for a villain in their story, and that villain is the makeup artist who had no idea there was even an issue. What I find particularly calculated about this whole situation is the timing. The video wasn't posted immediately after the wedding. No, she waited 6 months to post it. 6 months? Why wait half a year unless your goal is to create drama?
Washing off my bridal makeup.
Let that sink in for a moment. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment decision made under wedding day stress. This was a calculated choice to post this content long after the fact. 6 months is enough time to reflect, to gain perspective, to maybe realize that public shaming a service provider isn't the kindest move. But instead, she chose to post it anyway. When she finally uploaded it, she captioned it with "much better," showing a before and after of the professional makeup versus her own work. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The comment section erupted with people pointing out that the makeup actually did look almost identical. The professional did a wonderful job. Many commenters supported the makeup artist, saying things like, "So here's the thing. You don't just hire a wedding makeup artist. They go through consultations to make sure they do it how you want it. So if she had any problems, she should have had said something." At least there are still reasonable people out there who can see through this behavior. And that's what's so bizarre about this whole situation. When you actually look at the before and after, the makeup looks virtually the same. It's not like the professional did some garish over-the-top look that was completely out of line with what the bride wanted. From what we can see, it was tasteful, natural bridal makeup, exactly what you'd expect. Now here's something that makes this situation even worse. We learned that she had already done a trial with this makeup artist. If you're not familiar with wedding preparations, a makeup trial is standard practice. The bride meets with the artist beforehand. Then they try out the look, discuss any adjustments, and agree on what will be done on the actual wedding day.
Shadow color she wanted to change. She wanted to add a little more bronzer. She did mention in her message that she loved her lip and cheek color.
So this bride already approved the style and approach beforehand. If she suddenly didn't like it on the wedding day, why not just communicate that? The makeup artist would have been right there, ready to make adjustments. That's literally their job. The trial is specifically designed to avoid day of surprises. It's the time to speak up about preferences, to say, I'd like less blush, or can we try a different lip color? The makeup artist wants you to be happy with the final result. That's how they build their reputation and get more clients. No professional wants a bride to walk down the aisle feeling anything less than beautiful. So the fact that this bride had a trial, approved the look, and then still chose to wash it all off without saying a word to the artist is particularly baffling. It shows a complete lack of respect for the artist's time, expertise, and professionalism. What bothers me so much about this situation isn't just that this bride didn't like her makeup. That happens. Not everyone will love their professional makeup on the first try. The problem is how she handled it. First, as I mentioned, she already approved this look during a trial.
And it seemed to me that she was happy.
Second, she chose to hide in a bathroom instead of directly addressing any concerns with the professional she hired. That's just cowardly, wouldn't you agree? And third, perhaps most troubling, she deliberately created content to shame this artist online. She even tagged the makeup artist in her Instagram post, making it easy for her followers to find and potentially harass this professional. It's this last point that really crosses a line. This isn't just about being a difficult client anymore. It's about potentially damaging someone's livelihood and reputation for the sake of views and likes. And in today's digital economy, a person's online reputation can make or break their business. Think about how many potential clients might see a viral video like this and decide not to book with that makeup artist, not knowing the full context. Think about the emotional toll it takes on someone to see their work publicly mocked. This goes beyond just being rude. It can have real consequences for a small business owner. Now, I've been reading comments defending this bride, and what's been really surprising is how many people have come to her defense with variations of, why do people hate? It's her wedding day and she can do whatever she wants. And basically she paid for the makeup artist. I don't think there's anything wrong with that when she didn't like the makeup. One defender said, y'all, it's her wedding, and she had every right to redo her makeup, because she's right, it wasn't blended. Y'all just want to be in the drama for real. This comment got over 126,000 likes. Another said, I liked the second makeup better, but she should have directed her concerns to the MUA, and if only things went south, make the video. But here's the thing, just because you're paying someone for a service doesn't mean basic human decency goes out the window. Yes, it's an important day for the bride, but for the makeup artist, it's their livelihood, their profession, their everyday work. One viral video like this could seriously damage their business and reputation. I've noticed this trend more broadly. This idea that because you're the customer or because it's your special day, you're somehow entitled to treat service providers however you want. As if the exchange of money somehow strips away the need for basic respect and communication. And it's not just in the wedding industry. We see this in restaurants and retail, in any service-based business. This mentality that the customer is always right has evolved into the customer can be as rude as they want without consequences. It's a troubling shift in how we view these relationships. This incident highlights a growing problem with the wedding industry as a whole. Weddings have become less about celebrating love and commitment and more about creating a spectacle for social media. It's becoming all about how can I get this video to go viral, or how can I outdo other weddings I've seen online. When the focus shifts from celebrating a marriage to creating content, we lose sight of what's really important. And sadly, service providers often bear the brunt of this shift in priorities. I want you to really think about this. A day that should be about love and commitment has become about generating likes and shares. Is that what we've come to?
Just different tells that we have as women when we're trying to, say we like something and we don't.
Wedding photographers have told me that they've had couples ask them to recreate specific viral moments they've seen online. Planners have shared stories of couples more concerned with how elements will look on Instagram than how they'll actually feel on the day. And now makeup artists have to worry about becoming unwilling content for a bride's TikTok fame. It's not just weddings either. Baby showers, gender reveals, proposals, all these once intimate moments have become potential viral content. And when that's the goal, the actual human connections and services involved become secondary. The most frustrating part of this whole situation is that it could have been completely avoided with simple communication. If the bride didn't like her makeup, she had several options. She could have politely asked the makeup artist to make adjustments. She could have expressed her concerns directly and asked for a complete redo. If she truly felt more comfortable doing her own makeup, she could have explained this respectfully. Instead, she chose the one option guaranteed to cause harm: secretly removing the makeup, filming it, making disparaging comments, and posting it online months later.
Off my bridal makeup on. Okay, wait, close this. Am I doing? I feel like you're about to vomit.
I keep coming back to this point because it's so important. Communication solves most problems before they even become problems. A simple, "I'm not sure about this lip color," or "could we try something different with the foundation," would have likely resulted in the makeup artist making adjustments until the bride was happy. That's quite literally what they're there to do. And if for some reason the bride felt intimidated or uncomfortable speaking up in the moment, which can happen, especially on a stressful day, she could have found a bridesmaid or her mom to relay the message. There are so many better options available. Some defenders have tried to argue that it's not rude. She didn't want to walk down the aisle without her ideal look. The girl still got paid, it's not a big deal. But actions speak louder than words. The act of filming yourself removing someone's professional work while making comments like, "I don't even want to see her," is inherently disrespectful.
Always is perfect when you do it. You always look so pretty. Thank you. It's shaking. I think it's just like anxiety. I would do this. But it's fine, like, we have so much time. The wedding's not even until 4. It's fine. I'm scared that she's gonna want to do like touch-ups on me like right before. Can we ask her still? Is that rude? Like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her. I feel bad, but I don't like it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
And now we know she actually did tag the makeup artist on Instagram, making it easy for people to find her. So that defense falls apart completely. Others defend her by saying, "Am I the only one that doesn't see the problem? Here, like on your wedding day, you want to look the best. You don't want to look back at pictures and want to change something." But there's a difference between documenting your day and deliberately creating content designed to make someone else look bad. Can you see the distinction? Documenting your wedding day might include showing the getting ready process, the ceremony, the reception, all those special moments. But specifically setting up a camera to film yourself washing off a service provider's work while making negative comments, that crosses a line from documentation into something more malicious. And the phrase "I can't wait to make a TikTok about this" makes it absolutely clear that the intention was always to share this moment publicly, to create content at the expense of the makeup artist's reputation. Some defenders have tried to argue by saying, "Y'all, it's a very stressful day and she wants to look perfect and confident on her wedding day. She doesn't want to hurt the makeup artist's feelings, it's not that deep." But there's nothing non-confrontational about posting a video online that criticizes someone's work to millions of viewers. True non-confrontation would have been quietly fixing what she didn't like without making a public spectacle of it. What she did was actually the most confrontational approach possible. She just waited until the makeup artist couldn't defend herself before launching the attack. And remember, this video wasn't posted immediately. It was posted 6 months after the wedding. That's not someone who is stressed and making a quick decision. That's someone who deliberately chose to post this content long after the event. I think this defense particularly bothers me because it twists the concept of being non-confrontational to justify cowardly behavior. Being non-confrontational doesn't mean avoiding necessary conversations and then bad-mouthing someone behind their back. It means finding respectful ways to address issues without creating conflict. If the bride was truly anxious about speaking directly to the makeup artist, she could have had a bridesmaid help her communicate her concerns. She could have sent a polite text or called after the wedding if she wanted to provide feedback. There were many genuinely non-confrontational options available. So the story doesn't end there. The makeup artist actually found out about this viral video and decided to respond. Can you imagine finding out months later that someone you worked with, someone you thought you had a good relationship with, was trashing your work online to millions of people?
So 21 million of you have seen that viral video of the bride washing off her makeup 20 minutes before her first look on her wedding day. Well, it's me. I'm that makeup artist. I honestly was shocked to see this. There were no indicators that she was unhappy, honestly. I've been doing this over 20 years, and I've learned to communicate very well with my brides, and I've also learned to read body language. So even if a bride says she loves it, often I can tell if she doesn't just by the way her body is sitting, or just different tells that we have as women when we're trying to, say we like something and we don't. I was looking back at my messages with this bride just to see like what our interaction was like. She did have a preview with me, and she was happy. There were a few things she wanted to change. Her eyeshadow color she wanted to change. She wanted to add a little more bronzer. She did mention in her message that she loved her lip and cheek color. So I kept that the same. On the wedding day, I made the changes that she asked for, and it seemed to me that she was happy. She gave me the biggest smile I've ever seen of a bride. And yeah, I had no idea. Also, her wedding was in August, so I mean, it's been several months now. I had no idea she was unhappy. And her washing off her makeup doesn't really bother me. I mean, it's her money down the drain. The thing that hurts is who the bride was. I'm not even on TikTok, so I had no idea this was happening. One of my artists saw this and saw that it was going viral and reached out to me. And when she told me what was going on, I was trying to think of which bride it could possibly be. And when I saw that it was this specific bride, that's what hurt. Because this bride, she was so sweet. She was so easy to work with, so kind. She's a fellow Jesus lover like me, so I felt like we had that in common, which was cool. So that's what hurts, is that the character of the bride that I thought is not what was there, and that's just what hurt the most. But it is what it is. Can't change it now. All we can do is move forward and learn from this. So brides, if you're getting married, you don't have to hire a makeup artist. There's nowhere that says that you do. If you love the way that you do your own makeup, then do it on your wedding day. Also, if you do hire us makeup artists, you are not going to offend us. You're paying for our service, and it's our job to make sure you're comfortable. And so just communicate. Let us know what's going on. I'm also just glad that this happened to me and not any of the stylists or artists on my team, because it has been very challenging to navigate and to talk about taking a deep dive into TikTok. Not starting shallow, just jumping in the deep end. I appreciate all the support from the makeup artists. The makeup artist community has overwhelmingly reached out in support. I've received hundreds of messages in the last couple days just showing love and support, and that means the world to me. So thank you for that.
Just pause to think about that. This isn't some faceless business. This is a real person with real feelings who is genuinely hurt by this bride's actions. When I heard her voice shaking in her response video, it really drove home the human impact of this situation. This isn't just about business or social media drama. It's about a person who is blindsided and hurt by someone they thought they had a good relationship with. It's about someone who takes pride in their work being publicly humiliated. That's something that often gets lost in these viral moments. We forget that there are real people behind the services we use, real people whose livelihoods and reputations are at stake. The artist has been doing this for over 20 years. That's 2 decades of building skills, reputation, and a client base, potentially threatened by one viral video. This incident isn't happening in isolation. It's part of a troubling trend we're seeing more and more in the age of social media. People are increasingly willing to publicly shame service providers for content creation without considering the real-world impact of their actions. Have you noticed how common these kinds of videos have become? Watch me confront my hairstylist, or restaurant manager freaks out when I complain. These videos are everywhere. There's this weird entertainment value people find in watching others get called out or embarrassed online. But what happens when the camera stops rolling? What happens to that hairstylist who now has thousands of negative comments on their business page, even if we don't know what happened before the filming started? This bride's video is just one example of a much larger problem. We've created a culture where public shaming is normalized, where the quest for viral content outweighs basic human decency, and where service providers are treated as characters in someone else's story rather than real people with feelings and reputations. Let's talk about the makeup itself for a moment. I mentioned earlier that when you actually look at the before and after, the makeup looks almost identical. In fact, many makeup artists who watched both videos commented that the professional's work was beautiful, tasteful, and exactly what you'd expect for bridal makeup. One professional commented, "Actually, the first makeup looks better. You have beautiful skin, and she did a wonderful job covering your red blotchiness undertones while keeping you natural. Why wouldn't you just tell her and share?" Another said, "The makeup artist's was nicer, firstly. Secondly, the fact you made this TikTok is disgusting. If you were unhappy, you could have just told her, or did it yourself and not made a video." So not only did this bride publicly shame someone who had done nothing wrong, but she shamed someone who, by all professional accounts, had done an excellent job. It's like ordering a perfectly cooked steak and then filming yourself throwing it in the trash while complaining that it wasn't cooked right. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people in the wedding industry since this video went viral, and what I'm hearing is concerning. Many makeup artists, photographers, and other wedding professionals are becoming increasingly anxious about working with clients who might be filming them or planning to create content that portrays them negatively. One makeup artist told me, "I've started adding clauses to my contract that prohibits clients from posting negative content online without first attempting to resolve issues directly with me. It's sad that we even need to do this." Another said, "I'm now hesitant to work with influencers or anyone who seems overly focused on creating content. It's just not worth the risk to my reputation." This kind of environment doesn't benefit anyone. It makes service providers defensive and anxious, which can affect the quality of their work. It creates an adversarial relationship between clients and professionals rather than a collaborative one. And ultimately, it means that talented people might leave these industries altogether, unwilling to put themselves at risk of public humiliation. There's something else that bothers me about this situation, and it's the power imbalance at play. This bride has a significant social media following. Her video reached millions of people. The makeup artist, on the other hand, is just trying to run her small business. When someone with a large platform targets a small business owner or individual service provider, it creates an unfair fight. The service provider doesn't have the same reach or resources to defend themselves. They can't ensure that their side of the story reaches the same audience that saw the initial accusation. It's like bringing a tank to a knife fight. The damage that can be done is disproportionate to whatever perceived slight occurred. And in this case, it seems like no actual slight occurred at all. The makeup artist did exactly what she was hired to do and did it well. This is why I believe that those with larger platforms have a greater responsibility to be careful about who and what they criticize online. The potential for harm is so much greater when you have thousands or millions of followers ready to jump on whatever bandwagon you create. Let's zoom out further and talk about the social media culture that encourages this kind of behavior. We're living in an age where content is currency. The more views, likes, and shares you get, the more valuable your social media presence becomes. This creates perverse incentives. Drama gets more engagement than kindness. Conflict gets more views than cooperation. Public callouts get more shares than private resolutions. The bride's comment, "I can't wait to make a TikTok about this," reveals exactly this mentality. She saw this moment not as a communication issue to be resolved, but as content to be created. She saw dollar signs and viral potential rather than a human relationship that could be damaged.
You're like cakey or something.
Oh, I can't wait to make a TikTok about this.
Flashback Mary. I would say flashback.
And unfortunately, our social media platforms reward this behavior. That video got millions of views. It probably earned her new followers, maybe even sponsorship opportunities. The incentives are all wrong. What message does this send to young people who are watching? It tells them that treating service providers poorly is acceptable if it makes for good content. It tells them that public shaming is more valuable than private resolution. It tells them that other people's livelihoods and reputations are fair game in the quest for viral fame. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The makeup artist went back through her messages with this bride to try to understand what went wrong, and guess what she found? The bride did have a trial with her before the wedding. The makeup artist explained, "She did have a preview with me and she was happy. There were a few things she wanted to change. Her eyeshadow color, she wanted to add a little more bronzer. She did mention in her message that she loved her lip and cheek color."
She did have a preview with me, and she was happy. There were a few things she wanted to.
Did you catch that? She specifically mentioned loving the lip and cheek color during the trial. Yet in the viral video, she and her bridesmaid are complaining about the lipstick being too pink. You literally can't make this stuff up. The makeup artist continued, "So I kept that the same on the wedding day. I made the changes that she asked for, and it seemed to me that she was happy. She gave me the biggest smile I've ever seen of a bride." The makeup artist even noted that her caption on the photos at the time was, "Smile says it all."
She loved her lip and cheek color, so I kept that the same.
This makes the situation even more baffling. The bride had a chance to speak up during the trial, and she did. She requested specific changes, which the makeup artist accommodated. She explicitly approved the lip cutter that she later complained about on camera. What changed between the trial and the wedding day? And more importantly, why not just communicate those changes directly? It feels like the bride was looking for content, looking for a moment she could share online. Because otherwise, why wouldn't she just ask for adjustments to the very elements she had previously approved? Remember what I mentioned earlier about the suspicious timing of posting this video? The makeup artist confirmed it. Her wedding was in August, so it's been several months now.
Yeah, I had no idea. Also, her wedding was in August, so it's been several months now. I had no idea she was unhappy.
Think about the psychological impact this kind of situation creates for service professionals. One makeup artist commented on this saying, "Can you imagine the kind of paranoia this would bring about for makeup artists? That you might have done a great job and had a great interaction with someone, and then you're second guessing for the rest of your career? Hey, I know that I did a great job, but was there something that I missed? Is there someone that's going to make a TikTok video about me trying to ruin my life and my livelihood months down the road, years down the road, trying to go viral at my expense?" Who would want to work in an industry where this is a possibility? This is exactly why so many talented professionals are leaving service industries. And this is the broader impact of this kind of behavior. It's not just about one makeup artist and one bride. It's about creating an environment where service professionals have to constantly worry that their next client might be secretly planning to use them for viral content. It creates anxiety, mistrust, and burnout among people who are just trying to do their jobs well. I've talked to wedding photographers who now include clauses in their contracts specifically prohibiting clients from posting negative content about them online without first attempting to resolve issues privately. I know wedding planners who now document every single conversation with difficult clients just to protect themselves. This climate of mistrust hurts everyone involved. But perhaps the most painful part of this whole story is the personal betrayal that the makeup artist felt. She explained, "When I saw that it was this specific bride, that's what hurt. Because this bride, she was so sweet. She was so easy to work with, so kind. She's a fellow Jesus lover like me, so I felt like we had that in common, which was cool. So that's what hurts, that the character of the bride I thought was there is not what was there. And that's just what hurt the most." Can you imagine thinking you had a connection with someone only to discover they were planning to use you for internet fame the whole time? It's genuinely heartbreaking. And this is what really gets me about the whole situation. The makeup artist didn't just see this bride as another client or paycheck. She connected with her on a personal level, thought they shared values and built rapport. That human connection is what makes many service providers so good at what they do. They genuinely care about their clients and want the best for them. To have that trust broken, to discover that someone who seemed kind and appreciative was actually planning to use your work as fodder for social media criticism, that's a special kind of betrayal. It's not just professional, it's personal. So how did the bride respond to all this backlash? Well, instead of taking accountability or offering an apology, she and her bridesmaid doubled down. The bride quickly privated all her social media accounts once the backlash started. But before she did, her bridesmaid, who was filming the original bathroom video, posted a story with the bride that said, "I love my fans. Thanks for the views." When someone commented asking how the bride was feeling with her newfound attention she wanted so badly, the bridesmaid responded with, "Love a fan," and started liking comments that said, "Fan behavior goes crazy." There's clearly no remorse, no apologies for bringing an innocent woman to tears. No acknowledgement that they blindsided someone who provided a service and was there to help on a special day. Instead, they're treating the whole situation like it's some kind of joke, calling critics fans and thanking people for the views. This response just reinforces everything we've been discussing. It shows that the goal really was attention and views, not any legitimate concern about the makeup. It reveals a complete lack of empathy for the person they hurt, and it demonstrates a troubling inability to take accountability for one's actions. In many ways, this response is more telling than the original video, because making a mistake, even a hurtful one, is human. We all mess up sometimes. But being confronted with the consequences of your actions and still refusing to acknowledge any wrongdoing, that speaks to character. I wish the bride had taken this opportunity to reflect, to acknowledge the hurt she caused, and to perhaps learn something from the experience. A simple "I didn't handle this well and I'm sorry for any hurt I caused" would have gone a long way. But instead we got defensiveness and dismissal. What's particularly sad about this situation is that the bride has now ruined many memories around her own wedding. Every time she looks back at her wedding photos or videos, she'll be reminded of this drama that she created. She'll never be able to separate her wedding day from what transpired afterward as a result of her own actions. This is a perfect example of how our choices can have lasting consequences that we don't always anticipate. What might have seemed like a funny moment to share on social media has now permanently altered how she'll remember one of the most important days of her life. In the pursuit of viral fame, she's tainted her own wedding memories. And for what? Some temporary attention? A few million views that'll be forgotten in a week? It seems like such a high price to pay. I wonder if she considered this before posting. Did she think about how this might affect her own relationship with her wedding day? Did she consider how this might impact her relationships with friends and family who witnessed her behavior? Did she think about the memories she was creating, not just of the makeup, but of how she chose to handle her dissatisfaction? These are the kinds of questions we should all ask ourselves before posting something potentially harmful online. Not just will this get views, but is this who I want to be? Is this how I want to remember this day? Is this the kind of person I want to present myself as? If there's anything positive that can come from this situation, it's some valuable lessons for future brides. The makeup artist herself offered this advice. Brides, if you're getting married, you don't have to hire a makeup artist. There's nowhere that says that you do. If you love the way that you do your own makeup, then do it on your wedding day. Seriously, save these people the heartache, she continued. If you do hire us makeup artists, you are not going to offend us. You're paying for our service, and it's our job to make sure you're comfortable. So just communicate. Let us know what's going on. That's really the key here, communication. If you don't like something, speak up. These professionals want you to be happy with their work. They're not mind readers. They can't fix what they don't know is a problem. I think there is also a broader lesson here about expectations. Professional makeup often looks different from what we do ourselves. It's designed to photograph well, to last all day, and sometimes includes techniques that might feel unusual if you're not used to them. Having realistic expectations and being open about your preferences during the trial can prevent day-of surprises. And finally, there's a lesson about perspective. Yes, your wedding day is important. Yes, you should feel beautiful and confident, but it's also just one day in your life in your marriage. When you look back in 10, 20, 50 years, what will matter most? How perfect your makeup was? Or the love you celebrated and the way you treated the people around you? You know what's really sad about this? This kind of treatment is why so many talented professionals are leaving service industries. I have friends who work in wedding services, photographers, makeup artists, planners, and they all tell similar stories about increasingly entitled clients. These professionals pour their hearts into making someone's special day perfect, only to be treated as if they're disposable. The emotional toll that takes over time is immense, and videos like this one only reinforce the idea that it's okay to treat service providers this way. Remember, this makeup artist will continue working with brides every weekend. This is her career, not just a one-off event. The damage from this kind of public shaming can follow her for years. One makeup artist commented on this situation, saying, "As a makeup artist myself, I think you did a really good job. The bride did this for views, nothing more, nothing less. I feel that it shows the bride is also fake. That's not the quality of a Christian." Another professional said, "Such a beautiful reply. I am also a makeup artist and I would lose temper. You are so kind and sane. Very wisely explained. Bravo to you and more respect." These are the voices of professionals who love what they do but are worn down by the entitlement and lack of respect they encounter. And ultimately, everyone loses when talented people leave these industries because the working conditions become too hostile. This whole situation really highlights the growing influence of social media on our behavior. Are we living our lives or just creating content for others to consume? It shows how important direct communication is when working with service providers. It reveals the real human impact of our actions online. Behind every business is a real person with real feelings. And it demonstrates the consequences of seeking attention and validation online at the expense of others. I believe that how we treat people who provide services for us says a lot about our character. It's easy to be kind and respectful to those we see as equals or superiors, but the true test is how we treat those we're paying to do something for us. In this case, the bride failed that test spectacularly. And while her attempt to gain internet fame at the expense of the makeup artist backfired, the damage to her own reputation and wedding memories is something she'll have to live with. As for the makeup artist, I'm happy to see that her business is thriving after this incident. She handled the whole situation with such grace and professionalism, even while clearly hurt by what happened. That's a testament to her character, and I'm glad the internet recognized that. One audience member commented and said, "You can hear the hurt in her voice. Don't stop your profession because of one person ever. I've been married going on 8 years. I hired a makeup artist. She did fabulous. It was my birthday, too." Remember, we all have the power to make someone's day better or worse with our actions. Choose kindness. Choose direct communication. Choose respect. It really isn't that hard. Thanks for watching today's video. If you found this commentary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe for more discussions like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever worked in the service industry? Have you ever experienced entitled clients? Let us know. Until next time, take care and be kind to each other.